Hi, my name is Constance Kawelenga. I'm the founder and CEO of the Campus Room 360. I'm a chartered accountant and I'm also a master certified coach. So I spent 30 years inside the numbers. I actually worked for a big four audit firm, and I worked for a global financial services provider, and I ran my own accounting practice for 12 years. And basically what I'm saying is you don't need to reinvent the wheel. So what I kept seeing was the same thing over and over again. Capable, hard-working South African business owners building something real, but without the financial clarity or strategy or accountability structures that big corporates take for granted. And that's what this channel is about. No jargon, no gatekeeping, just practical business and money lessons built for South African business owners who are ready to take back control. And a lot of what we're going to cover will focus on business people, or rather businesses that most people would walk straight past, the so-called boring or unsexy businesses. So we're talking car washes, laundromats, cleaning services, dog washes, security companies. Not glamorous at all. But here is what they have in common. Customers who pay regularly without thinking twice. And if you build the right systems, a business that eventually runs itself without you having to be there every single day. That's not boring. That's real wealth. Let's get into it. You've driven past one this week. You've probably used one recently, a hand wash, car wash. A few people with buckets and chamois leather, a hosepipe, and a forecourt. In South Africa, they are everywhere. And here is what the data says about them. There are between 4,500 to 7,000 registered car washes in South Africa right now. The average one is less than 4 years old, and 87% of them are single owner operations. Now, the short average lifespan tells you something, doesn't it? It tells you that most of these businesses are not being built to last. They're being built on hard work and hope, yes. But when the owner gets sick or a competitor opens across the road, or the municipality cuts the water supply, they really struggle. So I want to show you something different today. A well-run car wash is a legitimate cash-generative business. But what separates the ones that thrive from the ones that disappear comes down to three things. Knowing the right numbers, building a real competitive advantage, and putting systems in place so the business works without you standing on the forecourt every Saturday morning. My name is Constance Kawelenga. I'm a chartered accountant, and I'm the founder of the Campus Room 360. And today we're going to take the car wash apart and put it back together properly, starting with the numbers. The South African car wash industry was worth nearly 9 billion rand in 2024 and is projected to grow to over 12 billion rand in 2030. Right there, that tells you that it's not a hustle, it's an industry. And the reason most business operators aren't seeing those returns is that they don't know 5 important numbers, and we're going to talk about them. Starting with the first one, the water cost per wash. Now, most car wash owners can't tell me off the top of their head what they spend on water per vehicle washed. A standard hand wash uses roughly 100 liters of water, and at current Johannesburg municipal rates of around 25 to 44 per kiloliter, that translates to 2.50 rand to 4.50 rand per vehicle in water cost alone. That's fairly low. So water cost is manageable. Water risk is the real issue. To be honest, we haven't had persistent water outages in most areas in the last few years, but there are some areas where water availability is an issue. Number two, your average ticket price per wash. So this is the average that a customer spends per visit. A 60 rand exterior wash or rinse, or a full 200 rand car valet, they use the same or similar amounts of water and labor, but one makes business and the other one makes a hustle. Smart operators have a menu, 3 to 4 tiers. with washers trained to upsell every time. So can I wash your tires? Can I shine your tires for 30 Rand? Do you want the interior done today? Every upsell moves your ticket price upwards, and that's what you want. Number 3, bay versus throughput. Now, a bay is your washing station. Throughput is how many cars actually move through your bay in a day. 2 washers on one bay can process 10 to 15 cars in an 8-hour shift. So that's your theoretical throughput, right? Now, ask the owner how many cars they actually washed yesterday. Not last week, not 2 weeks ago, yesterday. And if the answer is 6 on a bay that could actually handle 12 on a bay, that's not a demand issue. It's a system problem. So you need to know that number. Number 4, your staff cost ratio. Now, in a hand wash car wash, labor is your biggest cost. Not water, not chemicals, not rent. And yet, most owners cannot tell me what percentage of revenue goes towards your wages. Your benchmark is between 30 to 40% of revenue. Above 40%, wages are eating your margin. Below 30%, yeah, it's good, but check carefully whether you're meeting minimum wage obligations, because non-compliance is a risk of a different type. And then number 5, your break-even washes per day. So this is the number that tells you whether you are in business or in trouble. So let's take an example where your fixed monthly costs are around 31,000, and that could be your rent, your staff, your water, your chemicals. So you take that, you divide that by 26, which is your working days in a month. That translates to 1,192 Rand per day. So that is what you need to cover in order for you to make, before you make a single Rand of profit. So at an average 80 Rand ticket, that's 15 car washes to break even. And at 150 Rand average per ticket, that's 8 washes to break even. So if you hit that number at 2 in the afternoon, you know that everything above that is a profit. If you close at 5 in the evening and you haven't hit that number, then you've got a problem, because you've made a loss for the day. And you need to know that tonight. What does a well-structured car wash actually look like financially? Let me give you a reference point. 082 Car Wash is one of South Africa's longest running car wash franchises. It's been in business since 2005, 21 years. They publicly disclose their franchise numbers. So a setup cost for one of their franchises, roughly 1.2 million. Expected net profit for an owner-operator, between 40 to 50,000 Rand per month. So that's a payback period of roughly 18 to 24 months for a well-located site. And here is what the CEO of 082 Car Wash publicly said about the single biggest constraint in this business. He said, good sites are in very short supply and are snapped up quickly. He says they only open 2 to 3 branches a year because of that. And so that actually brings us to the second part of what makes a well-run business. So what separates the car wash that survives from the one that closes within when a competitor opens nearby? So let's take a situation that plays out in the suburbs. Let's say the northern suburbs of Johannesburg on a regular basis. A car wash opens, it's busy, but 18 months later, a competitor opens just 200 meters away. And within 6 months, one of them closes. Which one of them closes is almost never about price or even quality. It's about the moat, the advantages that you've layered in that make more customers choose you even when there's a cheaper option next door. So what are those advantages? The first and most important mode is location. And the thing about location is you only get to choose it just once. Gauteng alone has over 2,000 registered car washes, and that's more than half the national total. And yet the CEO of South Africa's biggest car wash franchise says good sites are scarce to find. and they go very fast. So what does it tell you? It tells you that the location is the constraint. A great car wash has at least three things. Firstly, it needs to be visible from a high traffic arterial road where customers stop on their way somewhere because they don't want to make a U-turn. And then secondly, you want a site that's got easy access in and out without friction for the driver. So the driver needs to be able to make a quick decision to drive in without experiencing friction in terms of making that decision to go in. And then thirdly, a great site is one that has something of attraction, either a coffee shop, a gym, or somewhere to sit and work. That gives customers something to do with the 20 minutes, 60 minutes, or however long it takes for them to wait for their car that's being washed. And then the second mode, and it has become far more strategically important in recent years, is water infrastructure. A borehole in Gauteng costs 50,000 to 120,000 rands, fully installed. A grey water recycling system that recirculates water runoff costs between 15,000 to 25,000. And so these are real investments, and you only make that investment once. You want a car wash that stays open even during municipal water disruption. The third mode is loyalty. A paper stamp card that gets washed in someone's pocket is no longer a great loyalty incentive. A WhatsApp-based booking and loyalty system, which several South African point-of-sale providers now offer at accessible price points, replaces the stamp card with a digital record that survives the wash cycle and prompts repeat business automatically. In addition, loyalty also comes from two things. Number one, consistency, same quality every single visit, and recognition. The car wash where the supervisor says, "Morning, Mr. Dlamini, you want the usual?" has created a loyal customer. Could your car wash run without you on a Saturday? Here's the question that tells you whether you have a business or a job. If you didn't come in on a Saturday morning, would the car wash open on time? Would it wash to standard? Would it handle the cash correctly? And would it close down properly at the end of the day? For most small car wash owners, the honest answer is no. And that means that the business is worth less, harder to scale, and impossible to take a real break from. Remember, 87% of South African car washes are single owner operations. And I always say that when you run your business, you want to run it as if you have an intention to sell it. Have that at the back of your mind. So the ones that get sold at a real nice multiple, not as a going concern that depends on the owner turning up, those are the ones that are built on systems. And there are three key systems. Firstly, system one, your shift checklist. So this is the daily operating Bible, what the shift supervisor follows to open, run, and close, importantly, without calling you. Not from memory, it must be run from a laminated document on the wall. The morning open check covers are all the bays clear and safe? Are your chemical containers at start of day shift levels? Are your pumps and equipment operational? Is your opening float counted? And importantly, is it recorded? And have you communicated clearly the vehicle target for the day to the team? So once you've ticked all of that, or the supervisor has ticked all of that, he needs to sign it, you can review it via WhatsApp at any time. And if something is wrong, the checklist catches it before the first customer arrives, not after. So that's your first system. Now, system two, this is the cash up procedure. Cash is the highest risk area in a cash-intensive business like your car wash, right? So here is the 5-step procedure over cash. Number one, count the till at shift end and write it down. And then secondly, subtract the opening cash or float. And this is the net cash for the day or shifts, and write that down as well. And then thirdly, compare your net cash to the schedule of cars washed, and that schedule must itemize the amounts charged for each car, and there must be a total at the bottom to say this is the total income for that day or for that shift. And then you compare that with the net cash for the day. And then fourthly, bank or lock the cash. Nothing stays on the premises overnight unless it's locked in a safe. And again, most car operators have the ability to operate without actually utilizing cash, but you will have customers that actually want to pay cash. So you always need to have this process in place in case that happens. And then fifthly, your supervisor signs the cash up sheet. You countersign the following morning. The power of this system is that discrepancies become visible immediately. And staff who know that cash is reconciled every afternoon, they are far less likely to test the system, let's be honest. Right, so that's your second system. And then your third system is your quality control workaround. This is your final check before a vehicle is returned to the customer, right? And this needs to be performed by your supervisor, not the guy that washes the car. So the sequence must always be the same. You check the front of the vehicle, you check the driver's side, check the roof, the passenger side, the rear. And at each point, watermarks, streaks on the glass, cleaning residue on the trim, missed bodywork spots, water in door seals, those kind of things. Make sure that they've been treated properly. Your tire treatment, if they've paid for the tire. If it doesn't pass, the car needs to go back. Washers who know that their work is going to be checked will make sure that they do it properly the first time. And you, the owner, are not doing this workaround. The supervisor is. Your job is to review the daily complaint log and the repeat customer rate, not to be on the forecourt. So, just to conclude, the South African car wash market, like I said, is 9 billion rand and growing. And we say that there are 4,500 to 7,000 car wash businesses competing for that revenue. And the average one closes before its 4th birthday. The car wash that knows the 5 numbers that we talked about, that has a location and water infrastructure that competitors can't easily replicate, and runs on a shift checklist, a cash-up procedure, and a quality control workaround operated by the supervisor. That is the one that doesn't close. That's a business, not a job. So there you have it. If you're watching this and thinking, I wonder where my own business actually stands on this, that's exactly what the free campus pulse check or the business diagnostic is designed to answer. Now, the quick pulse check takes about 2 minutes, but if you're more serious about getting a diagnostic of your business, you'll want to take the business diagnostic, which only takes about 15 minutes. It's completely free, and at the end of it, you get a personalized picture of your business health across 7 areas. The link is in the description. Take it this week, and I'll see you next time.